Excuse me, I almost burped. It's Loki season 2 coming out in October, but we got our first trailer for it.
I thought this was a second trailer because.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
was like a
you know how they
teaser.
do that shit where they do like the teaser and then
fucking
this
trailers.
is the official trailer.
This is the final trailer.
Yeah.
Part 2
and I'm just over
of
here
Dune
like,
just came out.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't keep track
Oh
of
yeah.
these goddamn things.
Blue Beetle this past month has had the final trailer because this movie's coming out. That movie is going to flop very hard. Yeah.
Sorry.
And that sucks. I
Yeah.
think it would have been perfectly fine as an HBO Max movie. It's cool that they're making it a wider release,
Right.
but yeah, that's not what we're talking about here. So
I mean, I'm just trying to think like what could possibly make it like a big movie is. I don't know.
But anyway, all things considered, I did enjoy this. It looked good to me. I thought it was a fun trailer.
Oh, really?
But I think that Marvel really has their backs against the wall now. I mean, you're going to have the MCU fucking dipshit haters that are going to exist, but I think a lot of mainstream audiences are like legitimately starting to get fed up with it, and I think that's a problem. And look, I don't agree with Bob Iger, especially with what he's saying with what's going on with the strike. But I do think he had a point about how Disney Plus has affected that brand. And I think that when you keep doing these 6-episode series that you insist mean something, but then never really do anything with, WandaVision is the only one that it had an impact
On the movies.
On a movie. And that was changed later. Like, she was supposed to be the villain, but that movie was supposed to come out before WandaVision, so they had to flip, like, all that. And another thing that's frustrating is, okay, hold one second. I'm almost there, and then we'll go to what you're saying. To enjoy the Marvels properly, you have to watch WandaVision, you have to watch Miss Marvel the show, and then you have to watch fucking Secret Invasion. Because I think it's like Secret Invasion is closely tied to this shit. And it's like,
sure,
that's a lot of homework for a lot of people. People got families and work and shit. They don't have time to invest 6 hours into this.
Here's the one thing, like,
or not 6 hours, 12 hours.
I have to make a confession. I have not rewatched an MCU movie. I can't remember the last time I rewatched. I tried to watch Quantum Mania. I got about halfway through before. Well, no, something came up, and then I just never got back to it. So it's not like I didn't want to, but I didn't rewatch Love and Thunder. I wanted to watch Wakanda Forever, but I knew that I would have emotions because I did when I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to be prepared for that, and I never really am. The first 3 phases of movies, I know how it all ends, so it's kind of like I don't really want to watch Civil War. I mean, I know how that ultimately ends. I haven't rewatched, and I've never rewatched any of the MCU shows. I watch them when they come out on the weekly basis, and then I don't rewatch them like.
Well, to be honest,
binge.
To be honest,
I should, but I don't.
I also do that with every show. I'm not usually someone that comes back. I've watched.
I rewatched the entire series, but that took like a day.
I've rewatched The Office a few times.
Sure,
How I Met Your Mother.
I've rewatched series, yeah, but just none of these because
New
remember,
Girl. That's a rare thing. I don't do that very much.
I have to bring up. We brought it up many times, but I gotta fucking bring up Moon Knight. Moon Knight is the perfect example of what we're talking about because
how hyped we were and
you
how
go
it let
back
us down.
to every one of the episodes that we talked about Moon Knight except for the last episode.
We liked it, yeah. For the most
Every
part.
single week, we're just fucking gushing.
Dude, episode 5 was the best episode.
Oh my god, we're just gushing over everything and just this is so good and this is gonna be so good. Remember the first episode we were watching it? I remember we were watching it. I was
episode 2.
We
watched the second.
The very
episode,
first episode, you're watching it and you're like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And then at the very end,
it's so cool to see him in his costume.
Yes,
and,
yeah, you're right. Second episode, yeah.
No, we watched the second episode together.
Right. But I'm saying like at first it was like, what is this? What's going on? But then you listen to that last episode review, and it's like, I'm not sure what happened. And that is a microcosm of every
fucking
show.
finale.
Well, every MCU show has. While you're watching it, while you're like in episode 4, like right in the middle of it, and you're doing it week to week, like they want you to,
Yeah.
it's like, man, this is the best thing ever. And then you get to the end of it and you're like, I haven't
means nothing.
I haven't seen the last 2 episodes of Secret Invasion, and guess what? Never fucking gonna.
Hey.
Why? Because why the fuck should I? I know what happens.
That's the thing. I tell myself I was gonna binge it. Then after it came out, I saw things from the finale. I was like, you know what? This is the first time, other than you could maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you want to get technical. I didn't watch that, but this is like the first time in a long time that there's a Marvel property, and I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care that I didn't watch it, and I am getting to the point of like,
you know what you're missing out on by missing Secret Invasion? A bunch of really excellent scenes between Don Cheadle and Samuel L. Jackson. But that's like the first 3 episodes. The rest of them, I don't know.
Well,
and
then they undermine everything. This is what. See
how well
there's okay.
It feels like this isn't as well thought out as Feige wants us to believe,
no,
doesn't it?
And that's the thing.
It feels like they're just drawing dots and like, okay, well, maybe
we've talked about how
throwing darts at the wall.
We've talked about how we like the multiverse,
sure,
and how that works, right? And
if you do it right,
how you like that's something from the comics that we enjoy and what's cool. You know what we don't like that you took from comics is this fucking the retconning. It's so. Why are you... so you're telling me the roadie that saw his best friend die went through time and space to save the world...
No, Rhodey was blipped.
Was a Skrull the whole
Rhodey
fucking time. No, he's in the second movie. He's in Endgame. Because he's with Nebula when they go back in time to get Star-Lord. Because when they're... he survived. Because he was explaining time. Him and
right. Sorry.
Bruce Banner were explaining time travel to Scott Lang.
Right.
And Back to the Future and all that. So,
yes.
But my point is that Rhodey, according to your director, has been a Skrull since Civil War. You realize how much you fucking gutted from that character? Mm-hmm. All that being said, I liked this trailer and I'm excited for Loki season 2. I am. You know why? Because consistently, 2 shows that stood out to me and have constantly stood out, WandaVision and Loki. Right. Those were the 2 best, in my opinion.
Loki was one show that really furthered a lot of the understanding. It felt like it furthered the narrative, the larger narrative. And I know we've talked about this before, and I hate going into these movies being like, what new Easter eggs am I going to, like what's going to... Because you do want to see something to further the story. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Doesn't.
Great movie, but does nothing to further the narrative of the MCU currently. Okay, well, does that mean it's not a good movie or that I shouldn't have watched it? No, it's just...
It was clearly an ending for those...
Right.
Those characters in that story arc.
Right. You would have liked to see maybe like a mid-credit scene, like something, but, whatever.
Yeah. Well, they also set it up to be a new Guardians team.
Sure. Right. Yeah. I mean, the door's not closed. That's cool.
Yeah.
But Quantumania does further the narrative in a big fucking way. It introduces Kang effectively to the MCU.
And the scene that you saw in the trailer is the scene from Quantumania where they find Victor Timely.
Right.
Which also
Timely Comics is what Marvel was before it was Marvel.
But I do think
but is Quantumania a great movie? No, not by any means. In fact, it's kind of a by the numbers MCU movie, really.
I think that Endgame, there's been a handful of really solid projects from Endgame. Most of them have been contentious. I personally have, we've
She-Hulk is one show that did stand out to me that didn't further the narrative, but
it did and it didn't.
Sort of, but right, it brought Daredevil.
It says Daredevil exists,
but
and it
was still a great show though. I loved watching every episode, and it was consistently.
But that's what I mean. There's like a handful of projects, and this is also what happens when you. And we've been talking about superhero fatigue for quite a while. I just think people. I don't necessarily attribute. How do I say this? I don't think that fatigue exists. People just change, and people. When you hit them with 42 projects in 15 years, they're probably going to be like, this is a lot. Even for me, I wanted to... We talked about Secret Invasion, hyping it up before it came out. It came out, and it just... It didn't. It did. And you know what? I'm not gonna watch that fucking Agatha show. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm okay with it existing.
I might watch it.
But I am a little
I like
worried.
Catherine Hahn's awesome.
I'm a little worried because, and it could work because the Marvel universe is like, that's the thing with Disney having Star Wars and Marvel. These universes are so vast. You can do so many things. But I don't know. There's something about Tom Hiddleston being Loki again. I think there's something about, okay, now we full on have experienced a version of Kang, so now we're going to see how this Victor Timely thing's going to work out and how that's all going to pan out.
You got to love, what's his name, Owen Wilson.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he's kind of like Miles in the Spider-Verse movies where he's glitching in and out of time and space. Like, I like that. It's interesting.
We got to see Ke-Huy Quan. I think
look at him going from one multiverse project to another multiverse project. That's an
I still have not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I haven't either.
Need to.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Nothing but good. And I mean, Michelle Yeoh.
But again, all this baggage
awesome
of where we
actor.
are at the MCU, I still find I still enjoy that cast. I'm interested to see where that goes, but I just there needs to be, first of all, it would have never happened. But if we could have just ended at Endgame, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But money talks, and we have to continue this narrative.
Well, I'm not mad that
or
it
continue
didn't-
this.
I'm not mad that
I'm not
it
either.
continued.
I'm not either. But
I love
man,
seeing Namor.
they need some fucking direction.
Yes.
They have no direction still, and we thought we were supposed to. But I think the problem is, I think Marvel.
Are we in Phase 5 now?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think
Phase 4 was
Marvel
so
is
great.
getting too reactionary at times, like Star
Right,
Wars
right.
was, like the original trilogy.
Remember,
the
Feige
sequel
kept
trilogy.
saying all throughout Phase 4, we have a plan in place. We know what we're doing. I don't fucking think you do
But
anymore.
I think Loki could be like it was the last time around.
I think
it
honestly, we were talking about this off the air. It looked like the same shit as the first season. I agree with you that there's a lot to like about it, and I can't remember the actress's name. I'm gonna look it up.
The one who plays Sylvie.
No, the actress who plays the TVA.
I know who you're talking about.
She was in We Run This City.
She's also
We
in
Own This City.
Lovecraft Country.
And Wunmi Mosaku, is she was in We Own This City, and she was also, you said, Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
But she,
Lovecraft County.
I'm excited to see her because I really like. She's one of those actors, and there's so many good ones, but she's one of those actors who can kind of disappear into the role a little bit. Because the characters from Loki to We Own This City are night and day. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see that. And then it looks like there's a lot of multiverse stuff going on. But again, give me something. Give me some furthering. And I know that right now the strike is going to make everything like really fucked up when stuff comes back around.
Yeah.
Because they have this, then they have the Marvels, and then I think that's all they have.
Which we'll get to that. They might be delaying that, so we'll see.
The
But,
Marvels?
yeah.
Well, they should have thought about that before they started releasing the Lego sets and the fucking McDonald's shit. They have McDonald's shit right now. Happy Meals.
Brilliant!
I know. Talk about getting what you pay for.
Oh yeah.
I got what I paid for.
50 cents.
I'll eat your ass.
You know it.
For 50 cents?
For 50 cents, I'll eat your ass. Wow. That was an unreleased Faith No More song. Let's move on. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.